Hello everybody, it's me, Mario, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing a spooky story. Let's go! Okay, I can't keep that voice up all day. Hi guys, my name is Mateo Rodriguez and welcome back to my Authortube channel. So, it's spooky season, I'm in costume, and it's time for the first annual Mateo Rodriguez Halloween special. Now, while thinking of video ideas for this Halloween special, I thought, you know what? Why don't I look back at some of my old ghost stories and see which one I could actually write a whole story about? For those of you that didn't see my revisiting my old writing journals video, I had two ghost stories. I fully intended on rewriting both ghost stories and the doppelganger horror story, but I worked so much on one short story that I couldn't do the other ones. On top of all of that, I decided to make my life more difficult and keep the first line of the sentence that I wrote in that original journal. Now I'm sure you're wondering which ghost story I selected. The two options were Ghost Mutt or The Ghost on Dead Street. And for the purposes of this video, I went with Ghost Mutt. So yeah, I spent the last month just basically writing the story and occasionally writing Project Mark Medallion, but mostly working on the story. Now, because this story is called Ghost Mutt, I feel like it's only fair that I tell you that there is a content warning for brief mentions of animal cruelty. Again, it is brief, but if that's not something you want to hear, then I would recommend checking out one of my other videos. With that out of the way, let's get into this video. One dark, foggy night, and a dog was forced to. Tim's face was pale. I put a hand on his shoulder. Hey, it's okay. Just take a deep breath with me. I breathed in deeply and exhaled slowly. Tim joined me. Good. Now explain it to me from the beginning. What dog? And where was this? It was a shelter dog. Bubbles. She wasn't a bad dog. Tim started to tear up. Those stupid assholes. He clenched his fist and continued. They took her to that abandoned warehouse on Desert Breeze. I started getting chills down my spine. Okay, and what did they do with her? They forced her to be part of a dogfight, Jess. It's so unfair. He punched the wooden floorboards of our old treehouse. It is, I know. The best thing we could do now is kill the guys that did this? Whoa, Tim, hey, no, none of that. That's what they deserve, Jess. And what then? That seemed to make him pause. What? What then? I repeated. They die and then what happens? Does it bring Peaches back? Do the criminals suffer for what they did? Before Tim spoke up again, I continued. And then what happens to you? You end up in jail, and what happens to me? I hate it when you do that. Do what? Find some smart way of saying I'm wrong? I held Tim's hand. Look, I'm not saying you're wrong for wanting to do that. I just think there's better ways of going about this. How about this? Those guys were probably sloppy about how they did things. Why don't we meet up after school? You could lead us to this warehouse or whatever, and we could find evidence together. Tim took a deep breath. You would help me do that? Of course I would. Tim gave me a half smile. Thanks, Jess. No need to thank me. That's what friends are for. I squeezed his hands one more time before saying, now let's get down from here before my mom starts wondering what we're doing. The next day, Tim and I met up at the soccer field. He was leaning against the wall when I got there. He looked distracted. When I said, you ready to go? Tim jumped. Jesus Christ, Jess, don't sneak up on me like that. Sorry, didn't think I'd spook you. Is everything okay? Tim waved his hand dismissively. Yeah, I'm fine. Let's get going. Normally, when we walk somewhere, Tim and I were chatting it up. This time, we were both pretty quiet. We didn't actually acknowledge each other until we got to the warehouse. I looked over at him and said, so this is it, huh? Sure is, Tim said quietly. The warehouse was a cloudy gray color, only interrupted by the occasional splash of graffiti. The few windows they had were broken. The door was also in rough shape. The top corners of the door were bent outward. The only thing keeping it from opening completely was metal chains. Tim walked straight to the chains and set down his backpack. He took out some bolt cutters and started cutting the chains. His form was a bit off, so he could not cut through them right away. Come on, stupid chains. I think if you just... I got it, Jess. He eventually managed to cut the chains off. I placed my hand on my hip. Happy now? Tim took a deep breath. Yeah, a little bit. Let's go. A gust of wind rushed to the door as we opened it. Tim and I both took out a flashlight from our bags and started looking around. Mine was a bit brighter because I had taken it from Dad's shop. The first thing we saw was a small lobby area and an office. Frankly, calling it a lobby was generous. There wasn't much besides a bunch of burnt chairs. This might be good. I took out a disposable camera and took a picture of the chairs. Why are you taking pictures of chairs? Potential evidence that they try to burn this place down. Right. Hey, it's a start. We need all the evidence we can get. Tim just shook his head and walked into the office. Boys, I mumbled. After a few minutes of looking, we find some filing cabinets. When we opened it, we found some dusty but intact files. Jackpot! I wiped some dust off of a white manila folder. There is a cactus cat and desert dog rescue label on it. Tim? Yeah, I see it. I slowly opened the folder. There is a file on a German Shepherd. Name: Bella. Age: 3 years old. Sex: female. Species: canine. Breed: Shepherd. German. Weight: 100 pounds. It's 45.3 kilograms. Notes: Hi, my name is Bella. I love children and cats, but I can get jealous around other dogs. My favorite toy is a squeaky hippo. So Peaches wasn't the only one they took. Guess not. I reluctantly searched for the other file. Eventually I found it. Name: Peaches. Age: 4 years old. Sex: female. Species: canine. Breed: mixed breed. Weight: 90 pounds. Notes: Hi, my name is Peaches. I'm a sweet girl. I like kids, cats, and other dogs. I may look mean, but I promise I'm just smiling. I examined the picture they provided. It was a bit blurry, but otherwise fine. Peaches was tan-colored. She had a mostly black nose, except for a pink center that either looked like a lumpy heart or a peach. She also had a lighter brown spot on her left eye. Even in this photo, she was smiling. So she was good with everybody, Tim interjected. You know where they found her before she went into the shelter? I shook my head. Behind a gas station dumpster. She was only 6 months old. Yeah, 3 years at the shelter and no one showed any interest in her. And when someone finally did, Tim was tapping his foot on the ground. It wasn't your fault, Tim. Yes, it was, Jess. If I had adopted her, none of this would have happened. Your dad would have never let you get a dog. Fuck what he thinks. It's not like he would have taken care of her anyway. He barely takes care of me. I didn't know how to respond. This doesn't matter. Let's keep going. After I take a picture. Fine. Just hurry up. I shook my head at him before taking a picture of the files. When I checked the image, there was a white smudge on the bottom left corner. Great, I mumbled. I would have taken another picture, but that's when I heard glass shatter. I looked back at Tim. What the hell is that? I don't know. Get behind me. I hit his shoulder. I don't need protecting. Whatever it is, we deal with it together. The other nodded, not ready. While I was bringing out a taser, Tim was grabbing something else from his bag. What is that? Nothing. Oh, so you're gonna protect me with nothing, genius? I flashed the light in his direction. He was holding a large kitchen knife. Seriously, Tim? What? You never know. There could be homeless people. And you couldn't, ask them nicely? Better safe than sorry. Come on, let's go before they find us first. As we made our way towards the back of the warehouse, we started to smell a very foul scent. gosh, it smells like a sewage drain exploded and then got lit on fire. Tim, like the dork that he is, says, it's not that bad. And then I started gagging. Uh-huh, yeah, tough guy? We brought our shirts to our noses and pressed forward. I examined all the pallet racks as we passed by. All of them were still standing despite their rusted state. All of them except for two. Two pallet racks had fallen over, creating a triangular entrance. I noticed scuff marks first, but then I noticed something much more concerning. Blood. There was dried blood splattered on the concrete floor. Creepy, I mumbled. As soon as we passed the entrance, I got a strong whiff of urine. Yep, there was definitely dogs here. I could feel the stickiness of the blood and the urine on my shoe as we walked further down into what was presumably the arena. Cold metallic cages lined the walls. Each one smelled awful. I did not dare look inside any of them. I was worried about what I could find. The closer we got, the more we could hear talking. Tim and I quietly agreed to turn off our lights and keep moving forward. Eventually, we could understand what was being said. See, dude, I told you. Underground arena. He sounded like a senior. Sick, another voice responded. So how do we sound it? Alright, so the first thing you gotta do is open the fourth gate. Okay. There was a loud scraping sound, and the voice spoke again. What's next? Next, you chant Ghost Mutt 8 times. Ghost Mutt, 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 Ghost Mutt. Lastly, you gotta smack the gate 4 times. Clang, 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 clang. Okay, so that's it? Yep, that's it. Then there was silence. Nothing's happening. I slowly started peeking my head around the corner. I could see them now. The guy outside the cage was tall, had black and dark brown hair, and had a nose piercing. He had skinny jeans on and a black t-shirt. He spoke up. You sure? Look behind you. The kid inside the cage looked a bit younger. He was just as tall as Tim and had messy blonde hair. He was wearing cargo shorts and a t-shirt. When he turned around quickly, I could even see a sloppy-looking skull tattoo on the back of his leg. Oh, dude, fuck you. There was nothing there. Ha! He pointed and laughed at him. Dude, I totally got you. You should have seen your... He went quiet. The blonde guy turned around and said, I'm not falling for it this time. My breath caught in my throat. There was something behind him. A mangled-looking tan body standing upright. The back left leg was torn to shreds. Stringy organs dangling from the stomach. My eyes moved up the body towards its head. Exposed neck muscle. A missing right eye. Exposed jawbone. Black nose with pink in the middle. This was Peaches. Her tail was wagging. Her lips curled up, revealing blue gums. She was smiling. Tim, I whispered. I see her. As she let out a bark, the blonde guy turned around. Holy shit, it's real, dude. Get me the fuck out of here. Black-haired boy's breath was shaky. Yeah, let me just open the gate. He tried to lift the gate, but it was just scraping against the side and not moving. Dude, it's stuck. What the fuck do you mean it's stuck? Peaches started walking towards him. The blonde guy stomped loudly and threw his arms up to try and scare Peaches away. It did work, but that was not the right option. Peaches' ears were pointed straight back, while his left of her tail was tucked behind her back. She got lower to the ground and growled. Her one intact eye dilated. Before Tim or I could do anything, Peaches lunged. Dude! The black-haired kid tried his best to lift the cage, but he couldn't do it. I ran towards them. Jess! Tim called after me. When I got to the cage, I started trying to lift it. The black-haired kid said, Whoa, who the fuck are you? I grunted, partially because the cage was heavy, and partially because this guy annoyed me. Just shut the fuck up and lift. He did not say another word. I tried ignoring the screams, but I could not do it. Lucas, help me! Help! I'm trying! Lucas said, nearly crying. She's on me! All I could hear was the sound of something hitting metal and the vicious sound of someone getting mauled to death. Blood was beginning to pool on the floor. Help me. The voice was weaker. Luckily, we got the gate opened. Me and Lucas dragged his friend out. He was in rough shape. He had several deep puncture wounds all over his body, including his neck. Call an ambulance. Yeah. Okay. He took out his phone and dialed. I kept my hand on his friend's neck. Each time his heart beat, I felt a rush of blood cover my hands. Tim ran into the cage and closed it. He reached out his hand slowly. Peaches? Hey, it's me. It's Tim. Peaches' pupil went back to normal. Her ears stood back up. Tim got lowered to the ground. Yeah, it's me. Hi, sweet girl. I could hear a faint whimpering as Peaches approached. I know. What did I do to you, sweet girl? Her tail was wagging very quickly. I could hear it smack against the walls of the cage. What did they make you do? Peaches whined more. She tried nudging Tim, but his hand phased right through her. I know. I'm sorry. Tim wiped his eyes with the bottom of his palms. I couldn't save you. You didn't deserve this. Even in the state that she appeared in, Peaches eventually laid on Tim's lap with her belly exposed. You're still the best dog I ever met. Tim moved his hands over the spiritual presence. It's time for you to go, though. Peaches looked up at him. Tim's voice cracked. Don't look at me like that. He took a deep breath. You are a smart dog. You need to go towards the light, Peaches. You can finally be at peace. He suddenly had an idea. And when I build you an altar, you can come visit me. How's that sound? Peaches let out a bark. She nudged him once more with her nose before walking past him and vanishing. It would not take much longer for a squad of emergency responders to show up. They took away the black-haired boy, who I later find out was named Ethan, on a stretcher. Of course, the police questioned us. It did not help that Tim had a knife on him, but luckily it was clean, so they eventually let us all go. We could not tell them what actually happened. How could we? They would never believe it, though we did show them the evidence we found. They said they would look into it, but I have not heard back from them yet. The next time me and Tim hung out, I asked him how he was feeling. Fine, I guess. He paused. I feel like Peaches is in heaven now, so it's good. But still, those guys are still out there, and the police aren't doing anything. You'll get them one day. Tim reached into his pocket and pulled out a folded up piece of paper. It was his application to the police academy. Attached to it with a paperwork clip was a picture of Peaches. I'll make sure of it. Ta-da! The end. So now that I finished reading the story, I thought I would talk about it a little bit. So yeah, when I first started initially writing this story, I thought, I feel like a generic ghost dog is a bit too boring. So that's when I started writing it, and I find that the more important thing is telling the story of this ghost dog and also telling the story of Jess and Tim. I liked writing their dynamic. I hope it felt fun and natural. I hope it felt like they've been friends for a very long time. Ultimately, I could have gone a lot darker with the story, but I don't know. I just didn't want a sort of depressing or gruesome ending for these characters that I was writing. So that's why the ending is a bit happier. Bad guys are still out there somewhere, but at least Peaches presumably moved on and is in heaven now. I feel like there are some nitpicks I have, the fact that I kind of introduced this kitchen knife, but They didn't really play a large role in the story, and the taser apparently that Jess had, but that didn't really play a part in it either. When I was writing the ending for the story, I think I kind of forgot all those details. I thought they were irrelevant. So I would definitely go back and edit this, but it was already getting to the date that I needed to record this video and I needed to finish it. So I thought I would leave it with a, for the most part, pretty satisfying ending. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this little short story. It was really fun writing it, and I hope that next year I can do something similar where I look at a horror story that I wrote or something, rewrite it, and then share it with you on this channel. I would love to know what you guys thought of the story in the comments down below. For those of you that are new, I normally don't write horror. I write YA/middle grade, and if you are interested in seeing me finish my YA/middle grade urban fantasy, feel free to subscribe. And also feel free to subscribe because maybe eventually I'll write more horror stories. With all that being said, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a happy Halloween, and I will see you in the next video. This is Mateo Leon Rodriguez, Authortube extraordinaire. Thank you for watching my video. You could find another one there.